In my last video, I talked about evaluating your school year in a way where you are doing it at a couple different checkpoints to really evaluate what is going on. And I mentioned that in this video, I would share some of my evaluations and first impressions of our new school year. If you don't know me, welcome. I'm Tricia, and this is our 15th year of homeschooling. I've got one in college, and then my boys are in 10th grade and 8th grade. So, let's chat about how the year's going. So, the first thing is, I'm going to say, overall, it's going pretty well. It is way more hectic of a year than we've had in some time. Different activities and such. My husband has a new job. We just retired from the Army. I've got a new job. So there's a lot of moving pieces going on. And in that regard, I'm pretty impressed actually with how well it's going. We are pretty well where we should be. There's a few areas that we are a little behind, but for the most part, I don't have a lot of complaints. Not about our homeschool and not about homeschool life. So that's kind of the too long didn't read summary of it. Now, that said, we have not started any together work yet because I can't find the time. And that's partly because of activities, fall sports. So we have about another month of those. And then I think we'll be able to get a little more time at home, I'm hoping. So that's that. As far as planning goes, it's working pretty well. It's a little disjointed in that Matthew likes to have his plans on Homeschool Panda. Ben is using Microsoft OneNote again. And then I mostly use a paper planner. And I have been refining this for a few years to get to the point where it's working for our home. And I use it for both our homeschool and our homeschool life stuff. But they each have their own planning sections because I couldn't make it work otherwise. So all that said, planning, I am staying on top of it. So far, I haven't dropped anything, which is definitely a battle for me. And in some ways, I think it's just because everything has been so busy that I've been really focused on making sure that nothing gets dropped. The other thing that's more of a general is that this year I added something that I call brain food. And I did this in a more organized way. I've done it in past years, but this year it's more organized. And it's something that I have to share with you. I've shared it with my email list for free. If you are not on my email list, down there. But brain food, it's called Brain Food Daily Tidbits for the Curious Homeschooler. And it's articles, videos, just something interesting, educational, intriguing, in roughly 10 minutes a day. Some are a little longer, some are a little shorter. But with the goal of continuing to keep my kids curious and myself as well. I watch them and read the articles along with them. There's one for every day of the week, somewhat seasonal-ish, but not entirely, variety of resources. So if you are interested, check out my link down below and you can get it for free. Let's move on to my 10th grader. This year for chemistry, he is doing Guest Hollow's Chemistry in the Kitchen, which uses regular books, like not fiction, but like a variety of different nonfiction books, along with videos, printables, and most importantly, food. All revolves around learning chemistry through the eyes of food and how different cooking methods work chemically, how foods interact, all of that kind of stuff. It's a great program. Elizabeth did it when she was in 8th grade. And now he's really enjoying it. Today, when we are done with this, he's going to make whipped cream, and then we're going to pair it with some apple crisp. Because unlike the temperature outside, which I'm dressed for, and I'm so tired of wearing sleeveless clothes and shorts, short sleeve shirts, he's going to do apple crisp. So we're going to pretend that it is fall, even though the temperature gauge says it's not. Latin. This one I crowdsourced from you guys to get ideas of Latin, because last year we tried to do Henley Latin, and it is the one time I think in high school that I have felt too stupid to figure it out. I could not make sense of it. And so some of you suggested Visual Latin from Compass Classroom. That's what we're using. Honestly, I still couldn't quite figure it all out, even just how to set it up. But I gave it to Ben, and he figured it out, and he's going with it. And yeah, we did start late with it, later than what I had intended, but we're going, and that's what's important. History. This one he's doing a Middle Ages history this year. He really enjoyed pre and ancient history last year. And so while I had intended for him to do U.S. history this year, I'm like, you know what, let's keep going with that cyclical approach. And he's using that. He's really enjoying it. Something I put together because I couldn't find anything. And we're using The Story of the Medieval World by Susan Wise Bauer. I am struggling to not call it Story of the World. But he's using that as a spine. And then we have videos to go with it, different books. He's reading Beowulf right now as the literature to go with it. The pacing of it, I worried about the pacing, and so far, pretty good pacing, so we're calling it a win. Now, we decided to outsource writing this year because it's the one area that I feel like I did not do well with Elizabeth. Now, she's figured it out. She does fine. In college, she's doing okay with that. But I know that I could have done better. But because, you know what, it was just easier. I just decided to outsource it this year. Now, Right at Home is spendy. And so far, it feels more like it costs more than what we're getting. I'm not sure the value. We'll see longer term. He's only 2 weeks into it. But the short of it is, for Right at Home, they give you a writing assignment. You submit it. They will revise it. And while they're doing the revisions and the editing remarks, they give you another assignment. You work through that. The other one comes back. So kind of that cycle. He likes it so far. It's going well. He's enjoyed the writing assignments. I'm just not sure about the value. I hope that when I do last impressions at the end of the year that I will feel like it was worth it. I'm not sure I will. We'll see. He's not gotten, to be fair, he has not gotten any revisions back yet. He's submitted 2 assignments. So we'll see what the revision process looks like. Now, Matthew, who is my 8th grader, he only has school 4 days a week because he's in co-op a full day. Now, that's great, except that the co-op is all elective type classes. So that means that we are spending 4 days a week doing a 5-day schedule in those 4 days. And so it means that he has fewer subjects this year because we have fewer extra electives from home because he's got electives all day at co-op. So a couple things he's done. 1, Khan Academy grammar. Now, he's done grammar in the past in various sources. And probably later this school year, we will start analytical grammar. But I wanted something It would help me evaluate where he's at so I can make a better choice for next year. So what I told him with Khan Academy's grammar is to go to the unit test, take it a couple of times, and if you can get to 85% by doing that a couple of times or a couple of the other quizzes in each section, great. Move on and go to the next thing. So it starts with nouns, verbs, pronouns. So far, he has quickly moved through those. I think Khan Academy grammar is going to be a really good review for him and a good tool to help me figure out where he's at. But so far, we haven't had to do any lessons teaching him because he's been able to get to that 85% really quickly. So I wish I could say, wish I could give you a better initial review of that. But however, if you want something that's a review, maybe check it out. If you maybe haven't done much grammar or in the last couple of years and you kind of wonder where your kiddo is at, this would be a great tool as well. And I think it would be good starting maybe 5th grade or so, 4th grade, depending on your kiddo. It's nothing really high level at all. So 4th or 5th grade, I think would be perfectly good to start trying it out. Now, next one, math. Matthew did Beast Academy. And then last year we tried an online class. It's the same one that Elizabeth had used. It was a great fit for her. It was an absolutely terrible fit for Matthew. There were just lots of parts of it and of why the class itself was great, but it was just a bad fit. So I knew that I wanted to try and find something self-paced for him. So my first thought was Mr. D, which is what Ben uses, but I wanted something that was more rigorous because Matthew is probably going to end up in a science major. And probably a physics major at that. So I really needed to make sure the math was good. And that brought me to Math Without Borders. And so far it has been amazing. Math Without Borders uses Forrester's algebra, which if you've poked around in the high school math world, you probably know that Forrester's is one of the most well-regarded as far as rigor and depth and such. So it uses that, but there is someone who teaches a short lesson to go with it. So he's getting both the video and the rigor that he needs. And it's been amazing so far. It has been so good. The lessons are 10 or 15 minutes. Some of them have even been a little shorter. And it's just been so well done. So first impression of Math Without Borders, excellent. Excellent. And it gives me high hopes that maybe we'll be able to continue this for the next couple levels of math. Now, the one elective that he is doing at home is computer science coding. Next year as a 9th grader, my hope is that he'll be able to do the AP computer science next year. So I wanted to make sure that he had a good structured foundation for it. He has used Hour of Code and other various coding things for years in a very self-learning kind of way. But I wanted something a little more structured. So I stumbled upon Carnegie Mellon Academy, and it has been so good. It's a free program. And it is giving him that structure of building the layers, some teaching. I think he would like more challenge quicker than what he's getting, but it uses Python, so it's a new language for him. And I wanted him to have something that's a little bit slower paced so he could struggle with that frustration. And obviously struggling with frustration is not a actual elective, but for him, it's a life skill that he needs. So, yeah, that's that. And for literature this year, we are continuing with fish tank units. Our first one is the Fighting Injustice unit, which I believe was a grade 6 one, but The fish tank units are pretty flexible as far as that goes. And it's all about the triangle shirt, waist, factory, fire. So far, he's enjoying the books. The writing assignments have been going well. That unit actually has a printed section for the writing. And I don't know if that's new. It's only in certain ones, but in the past, the units we've used, I haven't seen that. So that was a nice change. He wanted them printed out so that you could actually handwrite them out, which I was surprised by, but that's what he wanted. So that's a great option. And yeah, we're not too far into it. We're maybe, I think, 2 weeks into the unit. But yeah, so far the books have been good. Enjoying the unit. Next up, I think we're going to do the one that includes Animal Farm, which is a favorite book of mine. Now, if you want more information about fish tank units, which are free language arts units, there's also math ones for all grade levels. I think they start at kindergarten, and I know they go all the way up through high school. Click on the video on your screen, and I will see you over there.